The opinions expressed in this video reflect the opinions of the participants only and do not reflect the opinions of the producer or the University of Pennsylvania School of Law. The University of Pennsylvania School of Law and/or the University of Pennsylvania in no way endorse this video. The University of Pennsylvania School of Law traces its roots back to 1790 in lectures given by James Wilson, a signer of the Declaration of Independence and a justice of the original United States Supreme Court. It wasn't until 1850, however, that Penn began its full-time law program. Ever since, Penn has been a leader in the world of legal education. The U.S. News & World Report ranked Penn 8th of all American law schools in the 2010 rankings. Penn is a relatively small school with just under 800 full-time JD students. It is also one of the more selective schools with a median LSAT of 170 and median GPA of 3.82 for the class of 2012. 97.2% of students were employed at graduation in 2007, and the average indebtedness of a 2008 graduate was just over $100,000. Penn is known for its interdisciplinary study and joint degree programs with the university's other graduate schools, including the Wharton School of Business. The law school is also located adjacent to the primarily Gothic Philadelphia campus of the University of Pennsylvania. The architecture of the school was based largely on that of Oxford and Cambridge, creating a timeless atmosphere. Penn is also a member of the Ivy League. Let's meet some students.
I'm Brandon Gay. I'm originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which is the reason that I came to Penn Law School. I'm a second-year student here at Penn. I went to Yale University undergrad in New Haven, Connecticut.
My name is Gregory Gewirtz. I'm from Staten Island, New York. I went to Cooper Union undergraduate. I studied civil engineering. During school, I was an intern for traffic engineering companies, and that's what I would have done had I not went into law. But I thought even before I entered Cooper Union, but I was more interested in law in the future.
I'm Sian Hutchinson. I'm from Australia. I'm an exchange student here at Penn.
My name's Curtis Jewell. I'm a third-year law student here at Penn, and I went to undergrad at Washington University in St. Louis.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Gafford. I'm a 1L at Penn Law. I did my undergrad at Columbia University.
Why did you choose Penn Law?
Outside of the location, it's just a really, people always say it's a collegial school, and I'd find that to be pretty much true. Everybody here really enjoys the other students. It's competitive in a way that really fosters an understanding that everybody can succeed without sort of trying to stab each other in the back.
Penn seemed like, of all the schools I applied to, Penn seemed like it had the best resources and the best reputation.
I chose to come to Penn Law because it's one of the best law schools in America, and it was the one that my university did an exchange with. So.
And I decided to come to Penn because I got a scholarship here that I thought made it worthwhile financially, and also just compared to some other top law schools, some in New York, like that kind of stuff. I just like the kids better here. I thought it was a friendly place, and I thought that I'd fit in better. So.
And I chose to come to Penn Law because of the collegial atmosphere that you have here. And when I went to visit different law schools, I found that people here were friendly to each other and really helped each other out, and that's the kind of environment I wanted to be in. And that was my main reason for choosing Penn Law.
Why didn't you stay at Columbia?
I loved my undergrad experience there. It was wonderful. But my friends at the law school weren't happy, and when I talked with students who were there, they were just excited to get out. And people didn't have a lot of friends in the law school because they said they were too competitive, and I didn't want to be in that sort of environment.
How has your experience differed from your expectations?
To start with, it's been a lot less intimidating than I imagined. I was just imagining that the classes would feel a lot more competitive, that the readings would be a lot more dense, be a lot less English in it, a lot more legal terms, and that hasn't been the case at all so far. I know it'll get more tough once we get towards test time and once the finals roll in. But just to start with, it's been a lot less stress and a lot less pressure than I thought. So far I've enjoyed it a lot.
What is the grading system like?
It's actually pretty favorable. A lot of students do very well because the curve, it's very meaty within the sort of B to B plus range. There's not a lot of C's, so pretty much everybody has a good chance to do well.
Are you finding your education to be expensive?
Yeah, it is quite expensive. So I'm lucky because I'm an exchange student. My fees, I pay Australian fees and then come here and don't have to pay Penn fees. So that's a really good deal because the fees are huge.
Do you need a car to go to school here?
I don't have a car. I think it would be helpful. It allows you a lot more flexibility in where you go and when you go, but I don't think it's necessary by any means.
No, transportation's fine. I got a subway station in front of the dorm here. I'm in the graduate tower here. I got no problem. You can walk 20 minutes to Center City.
You don't have to. I'm from Maryland, so I have one just to drive home. But you can usually get around with that one.
How do you like Philadelphia as a city?
It's an unbelievable city. It's a city of neighborhoods, and Penn students really don't venture outside of University City that often, but it's really an incredible city. There's a lot of culture, there's a lot to do, but it's very cheap if you really want to sort of enjoy living like a student.
That's the tough part for me. I really do miss New York. I'm trying to get adjusted to Philadelphia.
It's fine for anything anything I need to do in a city. Philadelphia is fine.
Love Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a great, great city. I just actually went to Boston this weekend and I think I prefer Philadelphia, so yeah.
It's livable for grad school. It's easy to walk around. It's not intimidating like New York. For me, I was from a small town and then I went to St. Louis for undergrad, so this was sort of like the next big step for a city, and now I'm ready to go to New York. It's not so it's overwhelming, you know. There's stuff to do, but it's not like in your face all the time like New York is, and it's livable. Like there's great food, like the BYOs are great, that kind of stuff. So,
How have you found your fellow students?
Very nice on the whole. Very, very nice.
Very nice, very approachable. You can go up to anybody if you have any questions or anything and ask them what they think about stuff. They pride themselves at this school on being very non-competitive, very collegial with each other, and I found that to be the truth so far. People are pretty friendly.
Okay.
Very intimidating bunch, if nothing else. A lot of them have a lot of work experience and graduate degrees. It's a good bunch.
I wasn't sure going in, like, you know, you always hear like it's a lot of smart kids, and you think that, and then you get to law school and you're like, wow, these are just really some really cream of the crop type students. But also, I didn't really expect to make a great group of friends, and I was able to do that here while I was at law school, which was fantastic. So,
I mean, law school just tends to attract really motivated students who are very quick on their feet, and I find that the students are pretty much the same students. I mean, there's more Yale students here than any other type of student, so.
Can you describe the social life of the school?
It seems okay. People, it seems it's a social bunch.
it's what you make of it, you know. Especially first year, a lot of people sort of get caught up in the whole, you know, got to get the good grades and that kind of thing. So some people don't go out, but you know, I had a great time even first year, and you know, you don't find maybe as large of a group as you had in college, but you definitely find your people. And I've had a great time while I've been here. I ran the bowling league for a while, and we have like 80 kids every Wednesday night hanging out bowling. You know, people going out to bars, that kind of stuff. Like it's not, you know, it's not crazy, it's not undergrad, but it's I think especially talking to other people at other law schools of this caliber, I think it's a really good, friendly place to go to school.
How have you found the workload?
It's pretty much dependent on the student. If you want to get A's, you really have to work very hard, as I'm sure you do at any school. But you can still, if you treat it like a job, a lot of students sort of take time off in between school and then law school. And if they know to sort of treat it like a job, they come in every day, work very hard for a set amount of time, and then they have time in the evenings to do what they want to.
It's actually not too bad. I was a classics major, so I'm used to doing a lot of heavy reading, and I was actually pleasantly surprised that the workload wasn't too bad here. I hardly do anything work-related on the weekends. I'm able to get it all done during the week.
You know, I try to take care of everything in advance the best I can. People do everything their own way, but I try to stay ahead of things. The teachers give us the syllabuses. It's not that hard to stay ahead a few classes. I put in some hours over the weekend to make sure this way during the week if something comes up, I'm not required to stay there. I've never had a night yet where I've had to give up something because I had something I hadn't done for the next day.
Does the teaching style differ from what you're accustomed to in Australia?
One of my professors is actually Australian here, so that's great. That's very similar to home. The other class I do is a seminar class, and that's very different to home, and it's much, much harder. You have to do all of your reading all the time, come very prepared, pay a lot of attention and get really involved in the class, which is really amazing. I'm learning a lot from that class. Also in Australia, a lot of kids won't be lawyers. Here, everybody pretty much becomes a lawyer when they finish. Like, a lot of people do law degrees in Australia and then get into business or the arts or anything really.
Do your professors use the Socratic method heavily?
It really depends. We have one professor who's very Socratic and can give people a tough time, but the others are pretty relaxed.
Have you been called on?
Yes, lots of times.
And is it horrifying or is it
Not so, well, it's horrifying when you get questions wrong, because, I don't know, law students aren't used to doing that. But yeah, apart from that, it's fine. I'm learning a lot from it. So.
What are the limits on interdisciplinary study?
You can take 12 credits at any graduate school you like over here. A lot of people take the Wharton certificate like you mentioned, and something I'm considering myself. It would consist of 3 business classes plus 1 business and law class within the law school.
Yeah, I actually just came from a midterm over at Wharton. I've taken, this is my 3rd Wharton class right now. You can take up to 4, so I'm going to take 4 Wharton classes over there. So especially for like a person like me that doesn't really know exactly what they want to do, you can get a good base of some business background stuff too, which will help me in my initial corporate law stuff, but it'll also help me if I decide to go business side or something in the future.
What do you plan on doing with your law degree?
I just accepted a job at a corporate law firm in New York, so I'm going to do basic corporate transactional type law stuff to start, and then we'll see where that heads. If I like it there, I might stay there. I think it's a really flexible degree. That's a great thing about a law degree. So maybe do like business side stuff or go into like a different field of law after that. So we'll see how it goes.
What do your classmates tend to want to do after graduation?
They're almost all interested in making a lot of money. Everybody's going to be a corporate attorney from here. If they wanted to be a professor, they probably would have gone to Yale. So almost everybody's going to try and make a lot of money, me included.
Does Penn attract many interesting speakers and visitors?
Yeah, there's stuff coming up all the time. I mean, there's enough groups on campus, and especially between the law school and then with just the general Penn community on the whole, and there's always like Wharton speakers and stuff over here, and the journals are always bringing people, so I think there's a lot of stuff coming in. So,
how have you found the faculty?
Oh, they're great. It's the best professors I've ever had in any level of education, and the facilities are great. I mean, it's a very well-endowed school, so the facilities are great. There's computers for everybody. There's wireless internet. It's what I would expect with all the money that we do have to pay to go here.
Very approachable and very nice. I've actually had lunch with 3 of my professors so far, and they're all very interested in you. They all know you by name, by sight. They have seating charts with your pictures, and they do make an effort to memorize everybody's name.
The faculty's been good. I mean, across the board, from an academic perspective, been great. I sometimes think the practical sense of it is sort of lacking in some classes. But at the same time, you can go out and search that kind of stuff out. I worked at the small business clinic that the law school has here over the summer, and I'm going to that clinic right now, actually. That's what I'm heading inside for. And I've got to get some firsthand experience with some transactional clients from some great faculty in the clinical setting. So, whereas some of the corporate classes or some of the litigation-based classes might be more academic, because that's what it's a school. It's not it's not a law firm. You can go out and search out some of those other experiences outside of the classroom too.
What kind of person might not be happy here?
Law schools, a lot of graduate schools are self-selective. Everyone's come here, has an interest in this. They pretty much know what they're getting into. I can't think of any type of group that wouldn't be happy here.
I think a person that is really, really ultra competitive. I mean, you can find that, but it's not the nature of the beast here. The kids are more looking to help each other out. It's, it gets competitive, but not to the degree that if somebody wants to be just a real, jerk about stuff, you might not be that accepted from it, which is, I think, a good thing. But some people, they're not looking to make friends. They're looking to go strict professional school style. So I don't think that Penn has that kind of an atmosphere. So
I guess someone who's looking to be very, very competitive and wants other people to be that way too.
I think the type of person that wouldn't be happy here is somebody who thinks that they need to, if they get an A, that means someone else can't get an A. The school really doesn't enjoy people like that, and those people don't go over too well here.
What advice do you have for prospective students looking at law schools in general, in Penn in particular?
I'd recommend for people not to be nervous if they didn't come from a liberal arts or English kind of background. Don't be nervous at all. You can easily get here. I was a bit nervous coming out of engineering school. This is a lot different than what I've been doing. Maybe I'd have trouble compared to some of these other people. I haven't found that to be the case.
Be aware that from a lot of countries you'll be doing a lot more work here. I don't think the work is that much harder. I just think it's a lot more work and more often.
Apply to all the best ones you can, and then visit and see how it feels. And keep in mind the regional differences, because schools like Penn and Columbia and Harvard and all the big top 5, top 10 schools, they travel pretty well, but it's still tougher if you're at Penn compared to at Berkeley. If you want to be at the West Coast from Penn or at the East Coast from Berkeley, it's a little bit tougher. The firms in the areas are used to hiring kids from the schools in that area. So if you're at Penn and you want to go to New York and go to Philly or go to DC, you're going to have a great, easy road to it. But unless you have a real selling point to go to, Chicago or Seattle or San Francisco or something, it's a little bit harder. So keep that in mind too when you're, after you get into those good schools. So.
I think my advice would be not to pay too much attention to the rankings and to go with your gut feeling about how you like the atmosphere of a school.
I'd say just make sure it's what you really want to do. It's a lot of work, and it's too much work. I mean, it's not something that you should do if you just want to waste time or you don't really have an idea of what you want to do. You should really think about what you're getting into before you apply.